intended audience for the call, you're already using Talkatoo. If you're brand new, there might be a little bit, this might be a little fast paced. So if you do need to set up a one-on-one training, if you're just getting started, I'll include the link to do that at the end of the webinar. We'll email that your way. So what we're going to look at today is a few new workflows. So how to add to a note you've already submitted, how to do that from either your phone or from a computer. I'm going to talk you through our new auto follow-up text feature, which allows you to text clients through Talkatoo automatically. I'll show you how to download your audio from your notes, a few new tricks within our web app when you visit the web app to see your notes. Going to show you medical histories and a couple updates there, and then a preview of what's to come next, which is pretty cool as well. So let's jump in. Time is a huge constraint for you guys in your practice, and you're getting pulled in 100 different directions on any given day. So we really have to leverage technology in order to get ahead. So that's why we have built Talkatoo, and hopefully you've already been using some of our core products, including Auto Soap. So let's just quickly take a look at kind of the core functionality of Talkatoo, which lives either on a computer or on a mobile device. And so historically, hopefully what you've been doing already is recording exam notes with Talkatoo. You could do it from your desktop or from your mobile app. And your goal with these notes is record an entire exam or just a few remarks about your exam. And when you're finished, you would submit that recording and receive a fully formatted note, retrievable either in our desktop widget, which looks like this, or in our web app, which looks like this. A lot of what I'm going to show you today is actually in our web app. So if you're more familiar with the desktop widget, you use it to record exams or retrieve the notes. To quickly get to the web app, you can just click Edit and More Actions on any given note that you're viewing in the desktop app. That will take you directly to the web app. It'll just pop open that exact note, and then you can see it and leverage some of the new functions that I'm going to show you. Just a quick additional review. Recording notes can also be done on the mobile app. So that could be a tablet, it could be a cell phone. Of course, it looks like this. Same concept, we record our exams. At the end, we stop and we submit them. And in the past, once you've submitted a note and received one of your SOAP notes here in the web app, you haven't been able to add more to them because they've already generated. And so this has kind of in the past been a final result that you can edit in the web app manually. You could also use find and replace, which many of you are using now to make a spelling adjustments. But all of this has typically been done by like the mouse and keyboard, right? Because we've submitted the notes and they're generated. So I want to point out kind of the first update, which is add to note, and that lives right above this, the top of your note result in our web app. And so if you typically look at the notes here on the computer in the web app, you can hit add to note, and you can actually record more even though the note's been generated. And so this is really handy if, let's say you started an exam, you know, you're partway through it, you want to retrieve that history or the exam findings so you can document those in your notes, but later on some lab results come back throughout the day. This is a good opportunity to record those additional findings, and then you can submit, and that will regenerate this note with those new findings inside of it. It's kind of a big breakthrough. If you've had Talkatoo for a long time, you weren't able to do this in the past. So add to note is a really helpful function, and it might just kind of change your workflow with the app. If you wanted to do that from the mobile app, I'm going to just detail how to do that. Not everybody has a microphone on their computer or has the ability to dictate into the computer. And so if that's the case, you can absolutely do it from the mobile app. And to do that, you would pop it open, you would visit your inbox up at the top left, and that's where you can see all of your submitted notes. If I had a note that I'd backed out of previously and had not submitted, that would be stored up here in my draft section. So all of these I've always been able to add to these, but these ones that have been generated, if I wanted to record more on these from the phone, just tap on the note with your finger, and then you can click up here where it says edit and more actions, and that will pop open our web app right on your mobile device. At the bottom, you'll see the add to note button. Just tap there with your finger and it will allow you to record more on the already submitted note. Just tap allow if you're on an iPhone. That's typical to see that. And now you're off to the races. You can record more audio a day from now, 2 hours from now, even if the note's already been submitted. So you would then stop the recording, you'd press submit, it will regenerate it with those new findings. And when you go to look for that, typically you're always going to look at your notes on a computer. So you would go back to your desk, pop open the note, and it would have those new additions that you recorded. So that's how you can add to your notes. And remember, if you need to get to the web app from the desktop app quickly, hit edit and more actions. That will take you there directly. All right. In the web app, there's a couple other new tweaks here. So underneath your SOAP notes, there's a new function. Well, it's been there for a while, but it was kind of hidden. So underneath, you'll find a new section that's always open by default. It's your AI assistant. And it's always open, which means you can just drop your cursor in here. And this is useful for pulling out information about this particular appointment. So if there's something that's missing from the result, I can typically get it by asking my assistant here. I can just tell it to reformat a section or write an additional section. I could say, for example, like write a thank you letter to the client in this section here. Give it a second, it will think, and then it will provide you with what you've asked for. You can then copy it and paste it into its final destination, just like you would with the rest of your SOAP note here.
Talkatoo.
And this has been here for a while, but hidden. So if you haven't used it before, now you'll see it and you'll be able to interact with it. Another new tweak here in the web app. So your transcript, which is available in the web app, you can pop that open at any time. The transcript is just the raw audio recording of the appointment. And what's new here is the download button. So right here, just tap on this gray button. That will actually download the audio to your computer in case you need it, if you want to store it in your files. So that's a new addition as well to the web app. Beyond that, a little further down, you'll see a brand new section labeled as auto follow-up. And auto follow-ups, they live underneath your note results. So it doesn't matter which template you generated the note with. It could have even been like a phone call, like if you made a phone call summary, you'll still always see this. Yeah, auto follow-up. This is really, we're really excited about this. This is so cool because whether it was a phone call or an exam that you recorded, underneath it, Talkatoo will suggest a follow-up plan. So just scroll to the bottom and it's going to input the patient name. And then you'll see the suggested follow-up plan. It's usually a 5-piece follow-up plan. And it is automatically generated based on the conversation you had in that exam room or the call that you had just got off from our app. So all of these follow-up points, they're individual messages that Talkatoo is suggesting you might want to use. These are catered to the conversation that you had. So if we were in the room and we were talking about diarrhea and that was really affecting Molly Smith, it might suggest as a follow-up item, has the diarrhea, gone away? Has it cleared up? Is it still a problem? And so take a look at this. You can edit the plan and you can strip it down. Maybe there's only one question you want to ask. Then you can pull out the things you don't need. So you can delete whatever you don't need. If it's just one question you want to ask, you can plug it in manually. So here you could say, has Fluffy had any reactions to the new medications? And once you've kind of customized this and made it exactly what you need, then you would click the generate button right here, and it would just kind of resave the plan. A lot of the time what you'll find is it nails it, because it pulls out the points, the most important points from your exam. But oftentimes you might just want to ask one thing. And so that's kind of the key, is that you can totally adjust what's in here. Once you've adjusted it, you're happy with it, you're going to plug in the contact number, being the cell number of the client. And a great trick, if you like this concept, you're interested in it, and you start to use it, during your exam at the very end, if you're recording from your computer or from your phone, just ask the client, hey, what's the best cell number to reach you at in case we want to follow up? And that way you'll have their cell phone number here in the transcript of the note, typically near the end. And so you could just copy that cell number and then pop it in right here. That's the last step. Well, second last step. Lastly, we're going to schedule when this goes out. And so based on my follow-up, I might want to send this out right now, or I could schedule this a month from now. And that's really beautiful, because if your main goal here, maybe you just want to ask, hey, have you booked your follow-up appointment yet? I can't type, but at that point, you might decide, hey, that makes sense to send out 1 month from now, when I want to get them back into the clinic and book another appointment. So just schedule the time, schedule a follow-up, and then you can actually go ahead and just archive your note, like you're probably already doing. Just hit archive, move on, and you have many other rooms and potential follow-ups to set, and you've now taken care of like the scheduling aspect. So when they do respond with an important reply, you're going to get a notification up here in the web app. So up at the top left corner, there's a new section here, follow-ups. Just notice there's a notification here. So I only get notifications from follow-ups that are important. If I scheduled a couple questions to go out and every response was totally normal, yes, Fluffy's doing great, he's eating again, he's not limping anymore, the diarrhea is cleared up, I won't get a notification, because it doesn't really require my attention. Because once it's asked the sequence of questions and there have been no significant responses, I don't really need to be notified. If they respond back saying Fluffy is bleeding, or Fluffy's diarrhea has gotten worse, or Fluffy's ran out of medication, that's when it's going to notify me, because it really does require my attention. So just click into your follow-up center and you'll see a list of all of your follow-ups. Notice how one of them up here was urgent. So that's where I got the notification. Again, if everything was totally normal and nothing really significant, it's not going to notify me. But if it is, I get this sticker, I can jump in here, and I can actually read the entire conversation. And I could even jump in real time and send a message through the Talkatoo platform here. All of this is happening via text message. So keep that in mind. And it comes from a different number every time. The reason we do that is so the client's not texting you back 3 months from now trying to get your attention through here, because it's kind of like you program your sequence and you get your summary and then it's over. And so the first thing it's always going to ask them, the first question is it okay if we follow up over text? And it will say who the follow-up is from. So in this case, it's from Dr. Hadar. And so it would have your username, your information here. That's always the first question it asks. If they say yes, then it will send the next question, the question that you programmed. And so everything will kind of flow through here naturally. Once they respond back with something urgent, like they did here, Fluffy was bleeding, that's when I get my notification. So from here, I'll jump in. I want to action this in some way. So I could either text them back through the bottom portion of the page, or it would be a great time to actually pull out my mobile app and do a call summary. Because if I call them through here, I'll get a summary, which I can use into my notes. Once I've actioned it, the last step would be to remove this notification. And to do that, you just click on the X, and now I have no more urgent follow-ups. The notifications can come back to you in different colors. So if it was a prescription, it would look like this. They might be asking for a refill or for more meds. They might also just have a question, and it might kind of go off script of what programmed in. And if that's the case, it would show up as a concern. And then there's other ones as well, like callback or appointment. And so this can become really powerful for your team. You can even kind of like, you can set your follow-ups, and then your team can manage these notifications and actually work on booking those appointments or scheduling those callbacks. So you can really leverage your team to help you with this. And the best part is once the conversation has concluded, you'll have a summary at the top right here. And this summary updates automatically over time. So if you come back in here tomorrow, it would have automatically refreshed, but you can always manually refresh it. So if they texted you back more information, just hit refresh, and then you'll have a really nice summary of the text conversation. You can copy and paste that into your client communication notes. So auto follow-ups, it's a very powerful feature. It'll kind of help you with setting reminders, driving more business back into your clinic, and ultimately getting your notes done from these client conversations. So we're really excited about this, and where it lives is just underneath your SOAP note at the very bottom. Feel free to test this out on yourself. You can put in your own cell number here. You'll get the text. You can kind of practice texting it back. You could try creating an urgent situation or just asking a question, and then you can manage the conversation here and just get a sense of how this actually works, build some confidence around it, and then you can start using it with your clients. All right, so I'm gonna let in Debbie here. There we go. Okay, so yeah, auto follow-ups are totally optional. You do not have to use them. There is a cost associated with a follow-up. So if you do schedule a follow-up plan here, it consumes a credit. So 1 credit per text message that you schedule. A credit is essentially worth 9 cents. And so your subscription likely already has some credits inside of it. And so you can use this feature until you use up all of your free credits. And once you run out of credits, Talkatoo would basically re-up your credit balance. There's a page in our website here called Credits on the left-hand side. And if you want to see where you can purchase more credits, you would do it in here. You can get the credits in different amounts. And if you want to turn this off at all, this feature, just come in here and turn this feature right off. That would disable it for everybody on your account. But you will have an amount of credits that you can use right away at no cost. And once you consume those credits, it will re-up. And again, each text message is 9 cents. That's the cost of 1 credit. All right, so that's auto follow-up. If you have questions on that and on anything else you've seen so far, we'll go off mute shortly and kind of go into Q&A. What I want to show you next is medical history. So hopefully you've been using this already. If you have access to it, it allows you to summarize documents up to 250 pages. So you can drop in a file here, you can click generate, and then in your inbox, your home base, for all things Talkatoo, you'll find a new note that will be labeled as a document. So click on that and it will create a one-page summary of the document. Really nice for distilling large documents into just a single page. Great opportunity to ask your assistant down here specific questions to pull out more data from that original document. And what's new about this is it's now bolding ongoing items, because this is really meant for histories of clients. So if you drop in a big file here, it will bold anything ongoing. It's also going to include due dates for vaccination. So it will tell you the next due date on any vaccines that were in that original document. Some feedback we've got on this feature, medical history, as well as our call summary feature, is that sometimes these come back with too much detail, or we've had requests to kind of customize the layout of these document or call summaries. And so a couple of things that are coming next in our future update, in our default template list in the web app here, you'll actually have a template for your call summaries. So right here, you'll find outbound call summaries. This is not out yet, but it is coming very soon. We're just doing some more testing on it, and then it will be out in the next week or two. So if you're someone who's been making call summaries a lot through the app and you found they're too wordy, or you want a different structure or format, you'll be able to come in here and pick a detail level, as well as add additional prompting. So here you could ask it to create a section in the summary for follow-up items, or whatever headings that you want to see in your call summary or in your document summary. You'll be able to actually like structure that in the template settings. So there's one here for medical history as well. Same idea. So you could say like add a section for diagnostics, or whatever the missing pieces are that you want. And what's key is you'll be able to choose the detail level. So if you've been summarizing documents already and you're finding they're still too long, you'll be able to come in here and just pare down the detail level below. We're also going to have undo and redo button coming soon. So if you've been editing a note, maybe you've been making some changes, and you did something you didn't mean to do, it was misclicked, there's going to be a undo and redo button right up here. So you can quickly undo those mistakes or redo them. And then we're going to have some more formatting options available in the default templates as well, including the ability to bold or make italic text as well. So that's kind of what's coming next, as well as what's brand new today. Key takeaways would be the ability to add to an already submitted note, and you can do that right from your phone. The ability to set up those auto follow-up text threads at the bottom of your SOAP notes, and downloading your audio at the bottom of your notes within the transcript right here. So yeah, that's everything that's new as of late.